Well, hey everybody, this is Barry Clyman. This is the second day of my live at 11. I'm again a little bit behind 11 because I'm technically challenged. I was told that I should be able to do this using Zoom. Can't figure it out. Not a problem. Not your problem, certainly. Yesterday, when we started this off, it was really with gratitude in mind. As I mentioned, yesterday was um, I got reminded of the anniversary of this book that I wrote being published, and of a truth will set you and your career free. It was ironically published. The published date turned out to be the same day as my mom passed away. My dad's 100th birthday happens to be today, and I was reminded of how I got started writing the book with help and strong encouragement from an old mentor friend, Coach Dale Brown. I told that story quite a bit yesterday, and I really just wanted to continue on with it. I am not here trying to sell anybody anything. In fact, if I'm telling anybody anything, this whole book, this whole concept is to for all of us to be sold on gratitude and really sold on yourself. My wife was joking with me. She heard me. She saw my LinkedIn profile. It talks about being the connection consigliere, and connection really matters to me. It's what's driven my it drives my whole life. It's driven my entire career. I got into the executive search business long before LinkedIn ever existed. I like to joke that I had LinkedIn before LinkedIn ever did exist. My first database, well, it's here somewhere, was a big old metal Rolodex. Um, Real hands-on, real-life connection, and so connection. When I call myself connection consigliere, I really try to encourage people to not network but to connect in real time, in real life connection. Connection um, almost always begins with conversation. The first conversation I think we should all have if we really want to genuinely connect with others and find people with whom we want to connect is having a conversation with ourselves. And honestly, essentially, that's what this book is about. Again, I'm not trying to sell any copies. There'll be a link later. You can get free copies. You're certainly welcome to go buy some on Amazon. But this book is about personal connection. I'm not in the career coaching business any longer. I'm hardly in the executive search business any longer. I like working with teams. I like working with high functioning teams and helping companies build high functioning teams. But high functioning teams can really only happen when people are genuinely connected with who they are and that they want to be a part of that team. The worst thing is toxic locker rooms. Anybody who's ever played sports, I'm sure, has been in one or two. Anybody who's ever worked in a large company or a company of any sorts knows that the water cooler, as it were, can have a toxicity to it if everybody's not really connected with who they are and what they're trying to do. And so ultimately, that's what this book was about. It was not to tell anybody what to be when they grow up. It's kind of none of my business. But it was written to encourage everybody to ask some questions of themselves. The book, the part of the book I was going to share today was really the introduction, and it starts out with what I like to say is the only Shakespeare I know. It's a quote from Lord Polonius, Lord Polonius to Laertes in Hamlet Act One, Scene Three. This above all to thine own self be true. That's it. Again, I am not here telling anybody what to be or do or how to be when they grow up, but I encourage you strongly to try to connect with yourself. What really, really matters to you. And that's how I started this book. It's a compendium of 40, at this point, 44 years that I spent in that business. And if I've learned anything, it's the most scalable, replicatable skill and knowledge that we should have is the truth about ourselves, and the truth about who we are. Um, and I say that if the truth is a brand, and the truth is a strategy, and the truth is a mindset, that if you connect yourself to it, and operate around it, you will find you'll never find a more scalable model. I think we see a lot right now in the world about people who are just droning on about lack of truth, and they start to really make asses of themselves. Um, I encourage everybody to not do that, to be you, to be who you are. Um, and that's it. That's what this introduction is all about. And so if you've gotten into a mindset, there's a quote here I wrote: insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Um, if you don't follow your own truth, I don't care. Not going to affect my life in any way. I'm not married to you, and but I pity the people who are connected to you or think they're connected to you because they're not connected to who you are. So once again, again, I have another quote here from Springsteen: "I'm no hero, that's understood. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm omnipotent or smarter than you or anything, but I do know very deeply and very profoundly that the truth, if you explore your own and you really understand what you're about, you will have a much easier time reaching out and connecting with other people than you will if you just make stuff up as you go along. Again, you can do it. Have at it. Please stay away from me. Um, things change, priorities change, life changes. Um, what did Paul Simon say? I'm older than I once was and younger than I'll be, but that's not unusual. This book was written, uh, 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 what's the math here? 7 years ago. I've changed. I've gotten less hair, more gray. Priorities change. Things change in your life, but your who you are, your values, if you remain in touch with them, it will be a scalable model for you as you move forward in your life. Again, um, the truth is a brand. The truth is a strategy. The truth is a mindset. And adopting and integrating those things as your own, it's what I write here. You'll indeed discover how the truth will set you and your career free. So it's your truth, not mine. I'm not here to tell anybody, once again, what to be when they grow up. Um, since this book was written, so I always had a question that I've asked with clients and friends and coaches and colleagues. One of my closest friends for years and years was a head coach of a Division I basketball team. We used to take long morning walks and talk about life and the world and problems. And my question always for him when he brought it to me was, what do you want to happen? What do you want to happen? What do you want to happen? And it's a powerful question, right? And it's a good idea to think again, to connect with yourself, have this connection with yourself, and write it down before you go out into the world. And years ago, 2019, I got asked to speak at a wonderful event called Generation W, which is run by an old dear friend of mine, Donna Ornder. Behind me, there's a basketball with her name on it. She was the president of the WNBA. And I taught a workshop called Leveraging LinkedIn. A lot of fun. I'll share it at some point in some of these videos. But at that conference, I met the coolest person I ever met in my life, Dr. Edith Eger. She's a Holocaust survivor. Wrote this amazing book called The Choice. If you've watched any of my other stuff, you've seen me talk about this before. But Dr. Eger took that model of what do you want to happen, and she used it, but she, of course, because in her amazing wisdom, took it and made it more robust. So, what do you want to happen? Question one. Why do you want it to happen? Which the simplest example I could give of that is, if you want a Tesla, you want a Tesla. It's great. They have a lot of upside to them. I don't have one, but don't buy a Tesla just because your neighbor has one. So if you want one, that's great, but understand why you want it. These are questions to ask yourself, to connect with yourself. Her third part of her 4 question series is, when are you going to take? What's this first step? I call it an NBA. What's the first step you're going to take to make that happen? What it is you say you want, and then the fourth question is, when are you going to take that step? So it's just an interesting sort of model to think about. You should try yourself and grab a journal and write and connect first with yourself. This is how the truth will set you and your career free. The world is changing. We're being bombarded by more information and data and memes and tweets and all this kind of stuff, and you can get drawn off track easily. In fact, that's the strategy of many people, just to keep throwing stuff at you. You have to have a truth filter. That is, again, what this book is about. You won't be successful in your career if you're living somebody else's life. For my parlance, you won't be part of a high functioning team if you're not really connected with what you want to happen and why you're on that team. So, what do you want to happen? Why do you want it to happen? What's the next step you're going to take to make that happen? And the fourth one is, when are you going to take that step? So that's it. That's a model. I'm going to close today. Um, I use these questions with clients as they are auditing their staff, but I'm going to use them. It's a set of questions that a large nonprofit HR organization brought to bear. I'm going to share one each day. But one other question you could ask yourself is, and again, be honest, is, I'll put all these in the notes, but what factors cause you to enjoy your current job and work situation? Make a list, write them down. Be clear about who you are. These are your truths. Nobody has to look at your answers, but it's a great way to journal. And what do you look forward to when you come to work in the morning? So simple questions, right? They need truthful answers. So that's it. Tomorrow we'll get into some of the deeper. I talk about how to write a win statement. I'll talk about the core concepts of this book. But again, to be a high functioning person, you got to be honest with yourself first. To be a part of a high functioning team, even if it's in your family, you got to be have these conversations with yourself first. That is what this book is about. That's what I'm here to share. I'm not selling any services. I'm plenty busy. I'm not looking for any new clients. Just stuff to share with gratitude to all the people that have helped me along the way. So stay safe, everybody. I hope these have some value to you. I hope these are enjoyable to you, and we'll look forward to catching you tomorrow at live at 11. Be well, everybody. Thank you.